Oh, well, hello, my friends. It's me, KP, and I'm here in my studio, and I'm here for, what am I here for? I always forget. ArtFoamies Fun Friday. I hope you're here for the same reason. Jim Smith is here, Bernadette is here, Terry, Catherine. Oh my goodness, we have a great group already. Christina, Estrella, Anita, Monica. Oh, Roberta, Linda Finney is in the house. Welcome. Monica, you're already, so people are already talking pencils. Nice. Bliss Angel Studios. Wendy Aspinall is here. Marilyn Kelly and Ginger Sparks. Ginger, I'm so excited. You're going to be so happy. The 4x6 is done. We just don't have it listed, but we will this coming up week. Okay. So be watching for it. And I'll try to remember to share the link with you as well. Hi, Catherine. Becky Best is here. Pam is here. Oh, Dee Keels, howdy from East Texas. Carmen Jones, nice to see you. Kathleen is here. Jack and Dana, my goodness, thank you all so much for coming. I hope that you are off to a great weekend already. I'm so excited to be here with you as I always am. We have some fun stuff to share and lots of stuff coming up. So please make sure that you are following us, that you're getting our newsletter if you don't want to miss out on the fun, because we do have a lot of great stuff coming, especially in April, because it is our anniversary. Do you all know it's going to be our 3-year anniversary already? Yes, I can't believe it. CK Art is here. Patty is here. Welcome, welcome. Stephanie Martin, Cynthia Yarberry. I really appreciate you all coming and showing up every Friday. I just love seeing all of you pop up here, and I hope that you're looking forward to some ArtFoamies fun. Let's go ahead and turn this camera around, and I will also be watching the comments to see if you have any questions or thoughts as we go along, and I will be sharing with you some of the stuff that's coming up. Oh my gosh, I want to talk a little bit about our pop-up shop. If any of you are still waiting on the Megan Quinlan stamps from her pop-up, please know that we are almost all the way caught up. So just be patient, be watching for your tracking email, okay? And we just appreciate your continued support. It was a wonderful first pop-up. We love Megan stamps. I'm so sad that they're gone because it means, of course I'll still be using them, but it's sad when you pull it out and you know that you can't get it again. So I'm really happy that I have mine. I hope you all got yours. And of course, be watching for future pop-ups. We have some very exciting things happening throughout April for our anniversary month. And still yet at the end of this month, we have Kat Kerr coming out with a few new images. That will be March 30th. So come back that's next week. So come back next Friday if you'd like to see Kat Kerr's new images and the Rolodexy stuff. We're rolling out the Rolodexy stuff. So be on the lookout for that because, of course, the Rolodexy, and we call them foamy decks, but they go really well with all the ArtFoamies and all the stamps and all the stencils. So come back for that if you're into the Rolodexy stuff, okay? Let's see here. I'm going to just see what people are saying and if anybody already has any questions or thoughts. Nancy Sheeds is here. Welcome. Nice to see you. I hope you're feeling better and better every day. I've been thinking about you all the time. And of course, late as usual on sending you a card. But yes, Cecilia, 3 years. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. Right? Puff is in the house as well. Welcome, welcome. And if I missed saying hello to you, please know that I would never do it on purpose. Sometimes I say it in my head. So, okay, we are going to talk about mandalas. We have been doing mandalas and we call them moon dollars. I call them stamp dollars. I call them doodle dollars. Oh my gosh, we even had what did I have? Doodle Dalla Dexy. Yeah, I love to play with names. Not that I can ever remember them, but it's just something fun and clever and catchy and silly, but it makes it, I don't know, even more fun. And Robin Size is here. Thanks for coming on, Terry Dye. Great to have you all. So we have been, as if you've been following along, then you know we've been doing lots of mandalas, moondalas, stamp dollars. I want to turn this camera around one more time because I do want to share with you. I hope you had a chance to see my t-shirt. Yes, this is handmade by Patty Campbell using, well, she's actually used a number of stamps, ArtFoamies, in this t-shirt, which is so vibrant and beautiful still, even after all of the washings. Okay. She gave me this about, oh gosh, I want to say at least 6 months or more. I don't wear, granted, I don't wear it every day, but I've worn it and washed it quite a few times, and the vibrancy is still fantastic. And she did use the original, which I am going to be sharing with you, the original microcosm set. And she used, my goodness, some of the dandelion set. And she used the, I think this is the lilacs, or, oh gosh, I can't remember. This is an MER stamp going around here. And this center one here is Julie Balzer. And it is, again, a stamped dollar. And so we've been, playing with this kind of imagery and doing these kinds of things, for a long time. But we find new ways to just continue the imagery and, expand on it and have fun with it, using not only, of course, your ArtFoamies, but your rubber stamps, your stencils, and just your paints, your paintbrush, your markers. I say it all the time. They don't call it mixed media for nothing. So you just pull out all the stops, right? Yes, Nancy, thank you so much. I'm so sad that I don't see Patty here tonight, but hopefully she'll see this video and be so happy to see her beautiful work again. Yes, Nancy says she does such beautiful work. And she definitely does. We've been doing stamped dollars together for a long time. So, yeah, really, really fun. And I know I've worn it here before, but I do want to share with you some of the things that we've been making throughout the month. And then, of course, some of the ArtFoamies that I use to achieve this imagery, and ways to use it, whether it's in your journal or with, your Rolodex art, or maybe a greeting card or whatever. Okay. Or art to hang on your wall. So, gosh, I don't even know where to start. I'll start at the beginning. Okay. We started, this is obviously, a Rolodexy, as we like to call it. And I started the month out with this because, we are calling this Mandala March. And this is made with, the start, the center, excuse me, is one of the face stamps from my little face set. And then using, excuse me, I have to get a drink of water. Excuse me. Yes, thank you, Monica. She says, don't forget to like the video and share if you're so inclined. Excuse me. Anyway, so this is done on black paper. And I use not only the face for the center, excuse me, but my concentric rings for some of the base layers. Okay, I'm getting a little choked up, so I'm going to have to stop for a minute, and I'm just going to demo, okay? Because otherwise I'm just going to fumble my way through having a little bit of voice issues here. Sorry about that. I knew, when I started too, I said, oh, I should get some hot tea tonight. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Mr. Moon is also here. He wants to remind you that we are running a special. Of course, if you're a patron, you have a permanent discount code. But if you are just here as a visitor, which we love as well, then please use the code gratitude to receive 20% off your ArtFoamies order. And I'm just going to do a quick flip through. I won't explain each and every one, but you can see all of the mandalas that we've done throughout the month. Some of them turned into Rolodexes. And I'll just share these with you, and then I'll do a demo. Okay. Thank you, Christina. I know. Huh. Okay. It's okay, Catherine. Go take your dog out. I'm just here choking anyway. Mr. Moon is actually, he's not in the same building, but hopefully he can see the comments. All right. So anyway, yes, here we go. And I will say many of these are started with the concentric rings and or with our Art Foamy Basic. And I did want to keep this, this is dried on here because I wanted to show you how you can decorate, paint, draw, stamp, stencil your Art Foamy and still transfer that. Okay, so kind of fun. And this one's double-sided. Here's one on a panel. And I'm dying to add a little face to the center of this one as well. Many of my Rolodexes are double-sided. I like them. I like to, make them double-sided so that they're have a little bit more heft to it. And if Wendy Aspinall is still here, I hope you recognize the sticker that you sent me. I just love it. Some rubber stamps used over the top, just directly over the top of some of the concentric rings. Makes not only a fast but effective doodle dolla. Love using them also sort of as halos or, backdrops for some of my figures. Here's one really fun and fast little Dexy using one of the new microcosms. And that's one of the things I'm going to share with you. I did list a couple of my own new stamps, and, many of you know I just got to squeeze them in when I can. So if I'm thinking about something, a lot of times I will just, squeeze it in there and come out with it. A lot of times just too, because I want to see if it works or, see if my idea is as hopeful as I think it will be. Here's just the start of a couple of my mandalas. Again, using lots of base layers. And if you don't have the concentric rings, highly recommend because they do make a really useful tool, not only for this type of thing, but lots of other makeys, of course. Here's one we did yesterday, just sort of like printmaking, where you can just overstamp and overstamp and overstamp. And that's one of the beauties of not only Art Foamies, but of this sort of process, And then again, what I was talking about, actual art that you could hang. And this is done on a cradle panel. Yes, isn't it so fun? This is just, talk about quick and easy and effective, because I really feel like you could stamp these out and send these, especially if you're doing a swap. And, it's not rocket science, but it looks cute. And then of course you could, put your information or whatever on the back. I do have another one that I did for my large 5x7, or I'm sorry, 5x8 Rolodex, and a little bit different, but fun nevertheless. This is just if any of you love Zentangling and love Art Foamies or stamping, kind of thing, this is just fantastic. Okay, so hopefully we can do a little of this and a little of that. All right, so let me go ahead and, oh, thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. Yeah, so this is this same stamp, if you can see that. And then you can also see it where I used it here. So that, my friends, is the same stamp, and 3 very different looks. Well, I don't, that's not that different, but you know, just outlining it with your Sharpie marker makes a big difference, you know? All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to stamp these out for you. Show you the microcosms. For those of you who don't know, microcosms are one of our most popular sets, okay? Which I think is really fun. I mean, I like it, don't get me wrong, but I just think it's funny because it is really basic. But, you know, I guess that is one of the great things about it, is that there is so many uses for it. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp these out for you. This is microcosm set number 1. Ooh, Donna, welcome. And Terry, this is so funny. She says, I'm not sure what that, I had to say, I had to get out my old longer burger baskets out of the closet and separate all my foamies into different baskets. Nice. At least you have them displayed, you know, in a cute way too. All right. So again, this is set number 1. And for those of you who remember, I made this rainbow pad on a scrap buddy. Okay. I just took a scrap buddy and I took my Moon Glow inks. Okay. And I made myself a rainbow pad. So this is just the 4 colors. Believe it or not, I have my Moon Glow Pink Crush, my Moon Glow Coral Fire, my Moon Glow Yellow Starlight, and my Moon Glow Blue Moon. And when you mix them, you're going to get beautiful gradients. Okay, so that's only those 4 colors. And I did make, again, my own rainbow pad. So you saw me ink that up, okay, right here in the purples, blues, and greens, okay? And now I'm going to take this next one and I'm going to use my reds and oranges, but instead of going this way, I'm going to go around this way. So it's going to give me completely different, it's going to give me more of a radiant, okay, than a stripe, which will be fun for this image, right? Green, yes, you mix your yellow and your blue, your yellow starlight and your blue moon, and you will get this beautiful green. Now, I did take another jar and mix those colors, and I do get a really beautiful, bright, limey green, okay? And it is leaking and making a huge mess. Speaking of that, I do want to mention to you, for those of you who may not know, we also offer scrubby soap on our website. And it is fantastic, not only for cleaning the paint and ink off of your hands, but it is also wonderful for your art foamies. Okay. So keep that in mind. I just wanted to, you know, give a quick, you know, shameless self-promotion on because we love this stuff. And you know that I pretty much only do sell stuff. Well, not pretty much. I only sell stuff that I love. So many of you have tried this and love it as well. So make sure to grab yourself a bar while you're over there shopping. All right. Anyway, so we're going to keep stamping out the microcosm set number 1. And also, thank you for hanging out with me through choking. I really appreciate it. I'm much better now. So I do want to also remind you that if you have microcosms, okay, or any of your round, or, you know, any of your solid stamp, or what am I trying to say? Any stamps, okay, that are your rounds, remember you can use the backs as well. So if you have microcosms, then you also have solid circles. All right, which is great because maybe you want to do something, for example, like take another color and over stamp it. Okay, now of course I'm going to want to clean this off, or I'm going to want to hold a piece of paper over the top before I mash down on it. I'm just going to use a baby wipe right here because otherwise I'll get ink all over my hands because I didn't clean it. But that will give you like beautiful background colors or solids. Maybe you just want some solids, right? So don't forget that if you have, you know, stamps that are on a square or a rectangle or whatever shape, you have that solid shape as well. I know, I mean, it's stating the obvious, but, you know, a lot of people don't realize it. Okay. So I have to state the obvious sometimes just because sometimes the obvious doesn't smack us between the eyes. And sometimes it's just not that obvious. Anyway, okay, so these three, again, are from the original microcosm set. Keep in mind, too, that they do make really great shrinkies. So you could do some fun gradient-sized baubles. Okay, so all this kind of stuff. Just think about it when you're looking at the imagery, okay? So again, great centers for the start of your stamped dollas. Yes, Roberta also says my peace sign freebie foamy goes well with these sets. Correct. And you know what? I actually happen to, I think, have the peace sign very close by. Ta-da! I do. And so maybe you take a nice black, and you know what? This might not be that dark. I might want to actually use a little bit of black acrylic paint or black gesso, and that would make it really nice and super dark, okay? Instead of using the ink pad. But I'm going to just use the ink pad instead. Just to show you for grins and giggles. Yeah, such cute buttons, right? Yes, I love when we just get the ideas rolling. And, oh, there we go. That's nice and dark. So, great suggestion, Roberta. So, yes, these all work wonderfully together. So, these four original microcosms, okay? So here, let's go radiant again. Instead of stripy, we're going to go radiant, and we're going to go with the purples and blues going this way. And of course, just as a reminder, if you feel like these inks are getting a little bit dry, you can squirt a little bit of rubbing alcohol. They're not necessarily alcohol inks, but this does work to sort of reactivate. Okay, so that is just a good little reminder. And here we go with our final microcosm from set number 1. Okay. Yes, CK Art, the peace sign is mine. It was a freebie. And so the only place that you can get freebies, past freebies, is on our Etsy shop. Okay, so you can look at ArtFoamies USA is our Etsy shop, and you can find the past freebies there. And honestly, don't remember off the top of my head. I believe this was actually, yes, last March or February of 21. Yeah. Okay, so that, my friends, is excuse me, the original microcosm set minus obviously the peace sign. Okay, and so now I'm going to, let's push this over, and I'm going to stamp the new microcosm set for you. Now they're all the same exact sizes. Okay, so the small is the same size, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to stamp these for you. I'm going to give a little spritz of alcohol again to sort of hopefully reactivate this a bit. And I don't know why, I just love this one. I'm sort of lately, I guess, I don't know, I have a little thing for triangles. So I will tell you, these two largest ones are my favorite out of the set. I mean, I don't know how I pick little favorites, but sometimes I do. And I do like that one too. I like them all. But I don't know, right now, I'm just really grooving on the triangle. And then this one too. And I will tell you, this does, I was doing a demo the other day. And so this does have a little bit of gesso sort of dried on there. And then I'm just putting a little of the ink over the top. So I don't know how great of a stamping I'm going to get, but yes, well, especially I think because of, yeah, so I'm not getting the darkest stamping on that, but that's okay. Especially if you are going to go in with your markers, okay? Or your, excuse me. I'm just going to use a Sharpie pen. But whatever black, you know, fine liner, permanent liner that you like is great. You could use a micron or whatever. Oh, this was a lot of fun. I actually did take I'm sorry, not a 100 proof press stamp and stamp that there. So if you have some rubber stamps you want to stamp in the center. Oh my goodness, I think also one of my very all-time favorite New Moon rubber moon stamps would look so cute in one of these as the center. Let's go ahead, stamp that. And I'm not going to worry, you know, that face is stamped down there, has that white spot in the center. Not really an issue. If you want to, you know, if you're going to doodle these up, you can easily, you know, I don't know, still work with that and sort of bring it around with a little, you know, little ink, a little gesso, whatever. But of course, you can go in and just start doodling up your dollars. I'm sorry, I was just looking here at what I had done just to see, but like, you know, you don't have to copy yourself. You can just sit and start to fill them in wherever you're called to do that. And, you know, so it's really, really fun and very meditative. That's one of the things we've been talking a lot about is the meditative quality of repetition. And obviously, you know, you can have a lot of relaxation time in your studio, play some, you know, some relaxing music, or maybe you just like it quiet and you just sit with your supplies, stamp some things out, and then just start going to town. You know, you don't have to, be doing anything too strenuous or too rocket science-y, right? It's not going to the Smithsonian. So we're going to enjoy this process. And of course, with these bright colors, the black looks really, really nice. But of course, maybe you want to do, white on black, and then you're going to use a white paint pen. And keep in mind, you can definitely bring in your gel pens, okay, or your paint markers, and continue to doodle these in fun ways. You can also add things on top. I'm not just doing tracing, okay? I'm actually going to also add little details. Because that is what I enjoy. What I enjoy is to sit and just find little patterns. If you have certain, all of us, I really believe, if you sit and you doodle while you're on the telephone, you will have certain patterns that you make over and over again. So maybe they're little circles, maybe they're little scallops, maybe they're dashes or dots, or a combination of both. But, the fact is that you can just sit and, completely fill it in. You can be very dense with it, or you can be very sparse. Again, that's up to you. And I really do feel like, it'll sort of just come to you as you begin the process. And this is one reason why I enjoy creating mandalas so much. And I do think it's very useful imagery as well, because if I don't like what I did, you can always cut it down. You can use your center pieces, as a jumping off point. So what I mean by that is, say that I created this piece and I really don't like what I did out here. But I like this, if I wanted to, I could cut this out and use it as my starting point again. So that, I think, is kind of the fun thing about, or one of the fun things about doing these. Also, you can start lots of base layers this way and keep them for, future makeys. Here, and I didn't have this for some reason in my studio. I don't know how many of you recognize this, but this is the celestial rings, and it's not stamped very well, but it is a great starting point. So again, I could over stamp that, or I could go in and begin to doodle it with the pen. But either way, I can really turn this into something really nice. Okay. So, and that's part of the process, right? It's, the fact that it's not one and done, like I didn't just stamp it down and it's ready to go, is okay with me, because that's not really what I'm trying to do, So anyway, and this was really fun because I actually had stamped them a little bit closer together, so you can see how that sort of came about. I ended up sort of something like this, and then by doodling them, it brought them sort of more together. Well, they were over stamped anyway, but I can continue building these out, okay, and connecting them. Oops, my circle's not very good right there. That's okay. Well, whenever that happens, you know what I like to do? I like to just get a thicker pen or marker. Yes, this is a Sharpie marker. So I've been experimenting because I used to have a go-to, but I haven't really liked my go-tos lately. So I've been experimenting around, and I do like this Sharpie pen. And I also like this very ultra fine retractable Sharpie marker, although I will say it has a tendency to spit a little bit more. Sometimes I don't mind that, but sometimes I don't like it. So if I make sort of a mistake, okay, and I'm using air quotes, I'll just thicken up my line and make it look a little more purposeful, okay? So sometimes you like having some different line quality, so I can just bump up this line, thicken it, and make it look like it was not an accident, okay? Also, I will say, again, I know many of you, and especially having had Megan here as a, a guest artist, I know that fodder school is really popular, and many of you are involved in fodder school. So these pieces make great fodder, okay? But you probably already figured that out. All right, and of course, if you want to, you can also darken things in. Don't feel like you're limited, because you're not. The other thing that I like to do is, and maybe, not necessarily on this one, but just for grins and giggles and to show you, maybe you want to write some words around. Especially if you're into journaling. And I haven't shown one, but I do love to do words around my mandala rings. Okay, so that's something kind of fun. I didn't leave myself much room, but you get the idea. Okay, maybe you just want some whatever messy handwriting all the way around. Maybe it's just illegible. Okay. Nothing like making it work. All right. So there you go. And then, of course, like I said, you can bring them together. And how I would do that is just by then extending these out a little bit by adding some scallops or, more rings and polka dots, whatever you want. All right, so you get the idea, and you can see what a difference that makes in just popping out your imagery and making your colors really come alive. Okay, so again, great start for any mandala. Okay, and of course you can take your rings if you want, if you're maybe working on something a little bit larger, and you can stamp them out, making it bigger and bigger. Okay. So that, my friends, is the new, or well, not just the new, but the original. And the original, what did I even call them? Microcosms. Wow, my brain. All right, let's work on this little mandala really quick, and we'll finish this off. I'm going to take a little bit of white gesso. I'm going to stop for just a second too and see what you're. Can you show the black and white one again and talk a little bit about it? Yes, and actually, you know what? Let me finish this one, and then we'll pull out a little piece of black paper and do a little bit. Okay? I do, because I wanted to stamp that face anyway. Let me get a little brush. I'm going to just use a small sort of detail brush and a little white gesso just to knock back that color in the center. Little bit. Actually, I'm gonna end up covering most of the face and just sort of touching it up with my black pen. So anybody else here want to chime in on what your favorite go-to black marker is? I would love to know. All right, so there I went ahead and just knocked back a little bit of that color. And of course, you know, I'm going to go back in and work on that detail a bit. And again, just using my black pen for a nice crisp outline. Okay, and you don't have to. You can be very loose with your outline. And that gives kind of a nice fun look as well. I think if for those of you, and I have not ventured here, but I also do believe for those of you who do freestyle stitching, some of these would be great on fabric, and some nice, beautiful stitched mandalas would be amazing. And again, I'm just going to stamp an outside ring just to show you how I can extend that a little bit more if I want to. Just going to use my sunshine yellow. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use a little bit. Yes, Robin size. I would love to see you do that because I know that you are so accomplished at that. So many of you here are just so good at that. So a Sharpie marker, Roberta says, yeah. Ooh, nice and bright. So you can see that I could just continue to go out. And then again, of course, if you want to use some of your rubber stamps, I do have, oh my gosh, I have a couple really cute fun ones here. My little 3 stars from Rubber Moon would be great. Or gosh, this little scallop would be so cute. There's just so many small little Rubber Moon stamps that would be super perfect for this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just use black because I think it will stand out and be cute. Again, and even, you know, if I'm stamping, I'm here in my studio, quiet, you know, having a little quiet time, and I get out my stamps like this and I just start stamping in that repetition. I mean, it is so relaxing and just, again, I know I repeat myself a lot, but just so meditative. So really enjoy that, have fun with it, and, you know, use that to your benefit because, you know, it gives you just such a nice sense of, well, then I can't talk and do this circle at the same time. Yes, anyway, such a nice sense of calm, you know, and just, I don't know, just a great relaxing way to spend some time and make yourself some pieces that you can use, you know, for so many different applications, you know? And I just had to. I love this little scallop stamp, and it was just staring at me, and I was feeling like it needed something in the blanks, so I'm doing it. All right, you get the idea. That's the start of a little mandala. Becky had a special request, and she wanted to see a little bit of the black and white stamped dala again. And I'm not going to do the whole thing for you, but I will just show you that you can start. Let me see if I have some black paper over here handy. Goodness. Sorry, my black pad is empty. So, well, what you can do, let's see. Sorry about that. I thought I had some. Let me look one more place here. Okay, so no black paper in the house. So what you can do is, I'm just going to get one of these. This is like a nice heavy sort of old file folder. I'm going to just put a little black gesso on there. Okay, we'll just make our own little matte black paper here. Okay. So the black gesso, of course, you could use black acrylic paint, but the black gesso is going to give you a very nice opaque and matte coverage. All right, so that's why I reached for my black gesso instead. All right, and I'm just going to paint up part of this because I'm going to end up cutting some of this off anyway. I'm going to blow dry it just really quick. Well, pretty quick. Ooh, that's a good one too. D. Keel says her go-to pen is a Molotov black liner. Ooh, that sounds good. And Jack Fulton says the Copic series of black markers work well if you're using anything with alcohol inks. They don't run with any of the mediums. That's good. Yes. So unless you're using, let's see, how can I say? It seems like if you're using clear blender, then it might move, but it won't. Copics will not move with water. So, all right. So I'm going to take my rings, okay, and I am going to, well, no, first I'm going to take that face. Where's my little face stamp here? All right, we're going to take some white gesso on a scrap buddy. All right, and this, keep in mind, this should be really nice and dry. And also, what was I going to say? So, well, if you were using black paper, it would be fine, okay? I would prefer, if I'm going to be stamping or working on this, that it be, dry for a while. But for the demo, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, so as you can see, my little face has just blacked out eyes. I did that on purpose so that you can sort of go in there and make it your own. You can take a white paint marker, or you could take a little white acrylic or gesso on your brush. And you're going to give them just a little eyelid. Okay. And a couple dots on either side is going to finish off those eyes. And of course you can go in here and fill in the mouth if you want to. Later you can let that dry, and you can of course color if you want color on it. You could go right in and use, oh my gosh, so many different things. You could paint over the top of it. You could use your Derwents. You could use colored pencils, as long as that gesso is nice and dry. All right. And so then I'm going to go ahead and take my rings and start stamping. Now it depends on if you want, if I want another ring right outside that, but I want to leave that black. So I'm just going to take, again, my white gesso. Cindy Sharp, hello and welcome. so happy to see you and hope that your day has been a good one and that your weekend will be even better. Right, so there's my second ring. Then, of course, if I want to go out even further, I can. Just depends on how far you want to go, okay? So I can also use this if I want to, sort of as a little template. If I don't want to stamp it, I'm just going to go ahead and use it to draw a little circle around there. And then I can go in, of course, again with my paint markers or with a paintbrush. As you can see on this one, I actually did use some other mediums. So like I wanted more of a little gray tone. So you can use, for example, your little Stabilo Alls are great on there. Okay. So if you want, maybe you don't want it to be really, really opaque. You want something a little bit lighter. It'll give you a little bit different line quality. Okay. So you could do that. And then, of course, and again, go in with your stencils, go in with your stamps, whatever you want. Okay. I'm just being kind of fast here. And then, of course, again, you know, the opacity of your marker is going to be a little bit more than your stamped line. So don't feel like, you know, you can go right over the top and add in some other, even though it doesn't show a lot, but it does show. Does that make sense? You can kind of see that more opaque line. Okay. Oops, I got a little globby. That's okay. Get the idea. The other thing I do, I mean, even though my, you know, and I do realize this, mandalas most often, traditional mandalas are going to be very symmetrical, a lot, you know, a lot more precise, but I really find that I love just, you know, being loose and allowing myself to, you know, do kind of whatever I want. The other thing I would like to do is go back in with another paint marker, maybe a black one, and, you know, do some other doodles, because we don't call them doodle dolls for nothing. Although I only call them that sometimes. Anyway, you get the idea, and I hope that you will get out your supplies and have fun with this. So yeah, I didn't take as much time, or, you know, really do all the little details, but you get the idea. And I hope that you enjoy that and that you get to get out your stuff. The black and white's really, really nice. If you wanted to add some pan pastels over the top to color it, you can. And I don't know if you can even see this or not. I feel like the lighting is pretty bad, but this one actually, and I've shared some pictures of this, has a little bit of a blue tinge to it because my stamp actually had a little bit of blue ink on it underneath. So, you know, you can do sort of colorations that way as well, right? So grab all your stuff, get makey, make some mandalas, doodle dollas, stamp dollas, whatever you got. But I know that so many of you have so many of these rings, these circles, these microcosms. So I really thought this is from the ArtFoamies Basic collection, which is also super handy. So, you know, like I said, I know so many of you have these. I really encourage you to, you know, break out all your circles and just go to town having some fun making some makey dollas. Another name. All right. Let me see if you have any thoughts or questions. Let me know. For those of you who are in my Patreon, please come over and hang out with me for a little while for an after party. All right. So hope I'm not forgetting anything. If I am, I'm sure you'll remind me. Don't forget also that we are offering the 20% off sale through the weekend when you use the code GRATITUDE at checkout at artfoamies.com. That will go all the way through Sunday at midnight Central Time. All right. Thank you all again so much for joining me. I love seeing you. Thanks for hanging out and getting makey. And you know the deal. Stay safe, stay sane, stay makey. I'll see you next week and have a great weekend. Bye.